The Fall of Prince Valorian. A dark royal story of greed, power, and destruction. Introduction. In the Golden Kingdom of Ravengard, people once lived peaceful and happy lives. The markets were full of food. The rivers carried wealth across the land. Children laughed in the streets. And the people trusted the royal family completely. But everything changed when a young prince named Valorian became obsessed with power, luxury, and endless wealth. Unlike noble rulers who cared for their people, Prince Valorian only cared about himself. He loved gold more than loyalty, luxury more than justice, pleasure more than responsibility. This is the tragic story of a prince whose greed destroyed an entire kingdom. Chapter 1: The Spoiled Prince. Prince Valorian was born into extreme luxury. From childhood, servants obeyed his every command. If he wanted expensive horses, he got them. If he wanted jewels, they were delivered instantly. If he became angry, innocent servants were punished. His father, King Aldrich, tried to teach him discipline. But Valorian hated rules. He mocked poor people and believed common citizens existed only to serve royalty. While other princes trained in leadership and warfare, Valorian spent nights in parties, drinking halls, and royal celebrations. The people whispered secretly, "This prince will destroy Ravengard someday." But nobody dared challenge him openly. Chapter 2: Hunger for More. As Valorian grew older, his greed became uncontrollable. Even though the royal treasury was already overflowing with gold, he always wanted more. He increased taxes across the kingdom. Farmers lost their lands. Merchants became bankrupt. Poor families struggled to survive. But inside the palace, Valorian lived like a god. Massive feasts were held every week. Golden statues decorated his chambers. Musicians and dancers entertained him day and night. One loyal advisor warned him, "Your Highness, the people are suffering." Valorian laughed coldly. Then they should work harder. Chapter 3: The Prince of Pleasure. Valorian became famous for his endless luxurious lifestyle. He spent enormous amounts of money on parties, gambling, and entertainment. Foreign princes visited Ravengard not for diplomacy, but to enjoy Valorian's wild celebrations. The palace became a place of corruption. Alcohol flowed like rivers. Dishonest nobles surrounded the prince. Truth disappeared from the royal court. Anyone who criticized Valorian was removed or imprisoned. Meanwhile, crime increased across the kingdom. Villagers became poorer. But the prince ignored everything. His only concern was pleasure. Chapter 4: Betrayal of the Kingdom. One winter, neighboring kingdoms offered Ravengard military alliances for protection. But Valorian secretly sold important kingdom secrets to foreign rulers in exchange for gold. He betrayed his own nation for personal profit. Even worse, he sold farming lands to wealthy outsiders while local farmers starved. His greed shocked even corrupt nobles. General Marcus, commander of the royal army, confronted him. "You are destroying your own kingdom." Valorian replied calmly, "A kingdom exists to serve its ruler, not the other way around." Those words spread across Ravengard like poison. The people slowly began losing faith in the crown. Chapter 5: The Starving Kingdom. As years passed, Ravengard entered economic collapse. Food prices became unbearable. Thousands of people suffered from hunger. Children begged in the streets. Entire villages were abandoned. But inside the palace, Valorian organized the biggest celebration in kingdom history. Golden fireworks filled the sky, while citizens starved outside palace walls. The people's anger turned into hatred. Whispers of rebellion began spreading secretly. But Valorian underestimated the pain of desperate people. Chapter 6: The Woman Who Warned Him. One evening, an elderly woman somehow entered the royal court. She stood before Valorian fearlessly. "You still have time to change," she said. "The kingdom can be saved." Valorian mocked her appearance. "You dare lecture a prince?" The woman looked directly into his eyes. "Greed blinds kings before it destroys them." Enraged, Valorian ordered guards to remove her immediately. But her words haunted him for days. Still, his arrogance was stronger than his conscience. Chapter 7: The rebellion begins. Eventually, the people could tolerate no more suffering. Farmers, soldiers, merchants, and even former royal supporters united against Valorian. Led by General Marcus, a rebellion began. Cities refused to pay taxes. Royal statues were destroyed. Crowds marched through streets shouting, "Save Ravengard!" Valorian responded with cruelty. He ordered mass arrests and public executions. Fear returned temporarily. But rebellion only grew stronger. Even members of the royal army began abandoning him. Chapter 8: Alone in the Palace. For the first time in his life, Valorian felt fear. The luxurious palace, that once overflowed with music and celebration, became silent. His fake friends disappeared. Corrupt nobles escaped the kingdom carrying stolen gold. The treasury became nearly empty. Outside palace walls, rebellion forces surrounded the capital city. General Marcus sent one final message: "Surrender peacefully and save your people." But Valorian's pride refused to accept defeat. "If I lose the kingdom," he shouted angrily, "then nobody deserves it." Chapter 9: The Burning of Ravengard. In madness and desperation, Valorian made his most terrible decision. He ordered palace soldiers to burn food warehouses and destroy bridges leading into the capital. He wanted rebels to starve alongside him. The fires spread uncontrollably. Entire sections of Ravengard burned. The kingdom that once shined like gold turned into smoke and ashes. People cried in the streets. Families fled carrying whatever they could save. And all because of one man's greed. Chapter 10: The Fall of the Prince. The rebellion army finally stormed the palace. Valorian attempted to escape through hidden tunnels beneath the castle. But he was captured before reaching the city gates. For the first time, the prince who once commanded thousands stood powerless before ordinary citizens. The people looked at him not with fear, but with disappointment. General Marcus asked him one question: "Was all the gold worth destroying your own kingdom?" Valorian remained silent. Because deep inside, he finally understood the truth. His greed had left him completely alone. Chapter 11: The Ruins of Power. Prince Valorian was removed from power forever. The royal system of Ravengard changed completely after his downfall. The people slowly rebuilt their kingdom from ruins. But the scars remained for generations. Parents warned their children about the greedy prince whose selfishness destroyed an entire nation. Historians would later write, "Ravengard was not destroyed by enemies from outside, but by corruption from within." Final narration. Power without wisdom becomes destruction. Wealth without compassion becomes cruelty. And leaders who care only about themselves eventually destroy everything around them. Prince Valorian had everything: gold, luxury, power, pleasure. But in the end, he lost his kingdom, his honor, and even the respect of his own people. Because greed may build palaces, but it also burns kingdoms to the ground. The end.